It's taken a while to get to this point, but Desert Fire, the superb new album from Soul Sign, is out today. 11 great tracks, full of depth, including another classic Bjorn Englen solo. Desert Fire is an album that deserves to be heard. I'm thrilled to welcome Bjorn Englen and drummer Mike Cancino to Metal Talk to chat all things Soul Sign. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers, guys.
Bjorn, we've spoken about this before.
Awesome to be here. It's a privilege to be at this interview. Thank you.
Good man, good man, good man. Bjorn, we've spoken about this before, but you must be thrilled to finally get Desert Fire out there.
Yes, it's been a while and a lot of holdups. Not going to get into detail, but we've been um, we're all sought after musicians playing in other bands, and we're finally getting this band in focus. And we've had some holdups with labels and back and forth and negotiations and stuff like that. So it's great to finally get it out. And we're kind of we've been a little geographically spread out, living in different places, but also everybody's touring all over the world and staying busy. But it's been a great journey and. We've had this lineup for a while, more or less. Rob left the band briefly and came back, but so it's nice to finally have this lineup that's the longest lasting, the most amazing lineup of the band finally have a record together. So it's going to be really awesome to see from now on all the reactions to the record and from the fans especially.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. It's an
Very stoked
excellent
about this
album.
new recording. Bjorn had the brilliant idea of moving to my house for about like as long as it took us. And we did all the drum tracks in my house. It was rad in my drum room. Really stoked. Bjorn came over with all the studio stuff, hooked up all the mics, and kicked total ass.
Wow, wow.
Very excited for this to be out. It's a very special record.
I think so. I think so, Mike. I mean, it's nice to meet you finally. I mean, I look to talk about the Out of the Dark, the White Room video. Yeah, you looked like you were having such a blast in that. I mean, how is it for you partnering with Bjorn England in the Soul Sign rhythm section?
Partnering up with Bjorn England, the very first time I set foot on stage with this badass gentleman was in Big Bear, California, thanks to my brother Chad. As soon as this badass fired up his gear, I knew I was in for the best weekend of my life. I knew I've had the privileges and I've been blessed to play with a few best bass players in the world, and Bjorn is definitely top bass player of the world. As soon as he plugs in, you feel that energy, that fire, that growl that comes out of his a crazy rig, and we got names for his rig. It's pretty cool. It's fun, especially at my house. And we always have a special bass tech coming out working for him. So it's been the best. It's only been but the best to team up with Bjorn. I'm sorry to answer your question. Both musically, and as a friend, as a person, musician that you aspire to be like and really admire. Thanks,
Hmm.
Bjorn.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's a great four-piece, Mike. Though is, I mean, I really enjoyed listening to your drumming on this journey. I mean,
Thanks.
I love the tone of Rob Math and Mark Bowles has got such a great voice. I mean, you must be desperate to get out on stage and play some gigs with these guys.
It was incredibly so fun to do it because, like Bjorn said, it's taken a while to get everything rolling, to get this lineup focused, and to get just. I mean, we did a run of what a couple months back or something like that, where we played more than two nights in a row. It was like, wow, we're doing things that musically we're coming out live on stage,
Mhm.
natural, all the things that good music does to itself as it improves and it gets better every night. It was awesome, the chemistry between the four of us. Yes.
Cool, cool.
Definitely.
I mean, Desert
To
Fire,
be
the
on
album.
stage live with these guys, the energy is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Desert Fire, the album opens with the first single, Clean Soil. I mean, Mike, I've seen that Clean Soil video, yeah, out in the desert, yeah, and you look like you were having a blast.
Being anywhere, I mean, Bjorn books us that date once again. Thanks to Bjorn, he books us this video date, right? It's just we're gonna work our asses off. We're gonna make three videos. We're gonna. I mean, it was awesome. It was the raddest. three videos we filmed back to back. I guess I'm
Mm.
spoiling it. I don't know. We did so much work in like so little time, and it was so planned but not planned, and it all came together thanks to the four of us and our video crew friend, uh, camera videographer friend. It was awesome over there in Vegas. Um,
Yeah.
that I think the minute we this lineup does anything together, it's awesome. It's rad, and I do
Mm.
have a blast doing it. Thank you. Yeah, it could be video or even having dinner, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's fun. You know that when we were doing the video for White Room, we were in Tennessee, and it was like we went to this badass, garage studio place, and here's what you have to work with. This is like I stayed up all night and cleaned this old drum kit, and I took all my cymbals best I could, and it was the raddest of fun. I felt like I was home. I had a bottle of Windex, some towels. We went down to the ganja store, had a good time, and then we came back, stayed up all night cleaning and getting ready for the video. I stayed up all night, and then in the video, it was just like it came out rad. It was filmed awesome. We went through a couple things getting ready for it, but once again, it seems like anytime we're doing stuff together in this band, the energy and the feeling is awesome.
Excellent, excellent. Let's talk through some tracks. Bjorn, I mean, Lost Vague Ace. Yeah, I mean, I love Mark's vocals on that track. Yeah, he really
Yeah.
cracks a great chorus across the album. And that's a great riff as well. And I love the melodic solo and the twin out guitar outro to the last chorus. I mean, Bjorn, is this one of your airplane journey lyrics?
Um, the lyrics came, well, the music came way before the lyrics in this case. A lot of times I'll have an idea, or Mike and I work on a musical idea, and then the lyrics will come sort of parallel subconsciously.
Hmm.
The music to this was actually written in Las Vegas a while ago. The song is about Las Vegas for that reason, but it was written, I think, I mean, it was probably 3 in the morning, and my girlfriend at the time wasn't going to sleep, and I went into the bathroom and just brought my bass. I had my bass with me, and just sporadically came up with this, and pretty much played it right through. And a lot of times when I come up with an idea, I just play it. I write it as I play it. It just falls naturally. So this was pretty simple, kind of a simple thing. And I played it for Mike, and Mike's like, "Well, this is rad, man. Let's record
Mm.
it." And so when I had a bunch of tracks with no lyrics, and I was sitting on a plane from New Jersey to Las Vegas, and I just had this fountain of ideas opening up. And I think in 2 hours I wrote the six lyrics to six of the tracks, just remembering the titles, but and what they're about. We had titles for various reasons for all the tracks, and this one was going to be about Las Vegas, so there was no doubt about it. And a fountain opened up, and I just wrote the lyrics and came back to the studio, and everything rhythmically fit right into the
Mm.
song. So it was cool. And the song was about, just a feeling of like, I've never been a resident of Las Vegas, but I've been there many, 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 many times, and I can't even tell you how many times. But you just the vibe of the city, and it's a very
Mm.
unique place, and now finally developing into a more of a residential real city, but it's still a new city,
Hmm.
even now
And
when it's
Mark
more
lives there.
developed. Yeah, Mark lives there. Yeah, so
No, it's
so
cool. I mentioned when we last spoke when you released single, yeah, and how it was great to kind of listen to those three tracks and try and build up a pattern of the album. Yeah, I mean, Lost Vegas was like the first new track I heard, yeah, when I listened to the album, yeah. But then it runs into Desert Fire, which is like, I mean, that's just fucking awesome, I mean, I love the starting riff. I mean, it just jumps along wonderfully. There's a kind of a classic UFO feel to it, yeah.
I think
Rad.
we kind of realized that it was I think Mike named it, was it Dr. Pepper, or was it
All right.
but
I think it's called Diet Dr. Pepper, so we get a little difference.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
does
yeah.
have a flavor that a lot of times when something reminds us of something, was that we can't use it. It's too much like the song, and it was the same. Like the riff in "Clean Soil" was sounded way too much like something else. I'm not going to say what it is, but I was like, you know what? I know the guys in this band, and the last thing I want is them to think that we kind of borrowed or stole a riff.
No.
Sometimes it's flattering, but it was a little too much, reminded me too much of it. So I was like, well, whether it was a subconscious thing or not. So I just threw the notes around a little bit,
Mhm.
and I think the riff came out unique and better this way, really.
Yeah,
But it was the same rhythm, the same amount of notes. I
yep.
just swapped out the notes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I'm not mean it's not criticisms by any means. Yeah, I mean, when it runs into that solo, you've got another fantastic chorus in there. Like I said, Mark really throws a great chorus in there. Yeah, we see it so clear through Smoke and Fear. And then Rob again is wonderfully busy with his layers. I mean, what was the thought behind making that the title track of the album?
Well, that's a great question because when we're laying drum tracks for the record, I'd never been to Mike's studio before, where he's got his drum setups and he's got a lot of gear, so it's a perfect place to track stuff. Um, and I walk in and I see this black, the walls black and the ceiling's black, and a big portion of the place, and I'm like, Mike, what happened? Well, there was a fire here a while ago, and I lit some incense, and I was in the yard with a garden hose, and my daughter came running out, and she's like, "Dad, the house is on fire," and there was like smoke all over the door. I guess the door to the house was open, so the smoke went into the house, and luckily Mike had the garden hose, and Mike has to correct me if I'm not telling the story correctly, but so he's putting out the fire with the garden hose. And luckily, they've called the fire department, and his daughter calls her mom and says, "Mom, the house is on fire and the fire department just left. Everything's okay." And of course, she's freaking out. But then we we start tracking drums, and I open the door, and this is in a good part of the portion of the year where it wasn't too, I think it was like January or something like that. It wasn't too hot, and so I open the door, and it's a desert, right? So
Mhm.
I open the door and I look towards the mountain. I see flames in the mountain and in the desert. I'm going like, there's a fire in the desert, you know. So that's what kind of sparked the lyrics, and I guess the lyrics is just about like how everything came together, how we met and we started working together, and it just kind of was meant to be, and even it kind of like involves the lyrics, sort of involve like the whole idea how Mike's brother really was the connection for us
Mhm.
to meet, and
Yeah.
um, we had a couple of gigs, and our drummer had moved to the East Coast, and I went through I talked to about 40 drummers, and I never talked to more than two musicians in my life before. If you're looking for someone, people need a gig. Well, I can't do it, but I know a guy.
Hmm.
So you talk to two people, and then you have a sub musician for any kind of gig. I was talking about 40 drummers, and I'm going like, what is going on? What is this? It's just some sort of sign of some kind. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna call Chad, Mike's brother, because he was number one on the list, but I'm thinking he's too busy. He's not going to be able to do it. But I called him and I said, "You're probably too busy." And he said, "Yes, I am, but I'll send my brother." And that was the beginning of the story, and
Yeah.
it's kind of everything just fell into place, and we did the gig, and Mike comes running in and without even unloading his gear, and he said, "I don't know any of these songs." I said, "Don't worry about it. Let's just have fun." So we played one song, and I turned around in the middle of the song. We looked at each other and it just clicked.
Yeah.
So I gave him a CD of the last album, and I said, "Mike, let's jam." And he said, "Sure." And I said, "Pick any two songs on the record, and then we'll do a jam in about a week or two." And I called him up, and a few days later, and he said, "I said, so which two songs do you want to do?" And he said, "It doesn't matter. I know the whole record."
Ah,
So
fantastic. Oh, wow.
yeah, we show up, and Mike's there before everybody, and we start playing the first song of the two. I don't remember which song it was. Maybe Mike does, but and after the second verse, he stands up and he stops. Then he goes like, "Hey guys, hold on. It doesn't go two times before the next pre-chorus. It goes three times. Let's do it again."
He's cracking the whip. He's cracking the whip. I
He's
mean,
It
cracking the
was
whip.
so it was so
I
awesome to jam out because I got invited to Hollywood to jam out like from 12 to 2. That stayed for like a year straight. I go every Tuesday or Wednesday to Hollywood, to Van Nuys, California, from 12 to 2. And we just put the whole thing together. And then we finally got, and it was with Rob Math, myself, and Bjorn, of course.
Hmm.
And we finally got Mark. It was so rad.
Mm.
After the release of the first album, of course, and we found Mark. It was rad.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
Mike.
funny, yeah. So sorry, no, as far as to fill in real quick, it was funny because we were meeting up, and Michael Olivieri was still working with us, but he had decided to leave because he wanted to just do, softer music, and solo stuff basically. So he was like, you guys need to find a singer that can sing this stuff and give it justice
Mhm.
and all that stuff. And Mike's a great guy. We're still great friends, and he's a great musician and a great singer. But he decided to leave, and so we're at rehearsal before the last show with Michael, and we're at Starbucks, me and Mike and Rob, and Mike turns to me and goes like, "So what are we gonna do now? We don't have a singer after this gig." And I said, "Well, I don't know." And he goes, "Do you know Mark Bowles?" And I'm like, "In fact, I do. I just started working with him with an
I
Uli
mean,
John Roth's
oh, I
band." He
asked him.
goes like, "Well, do you have his number?" And I said, "Yeah." "Well, call him." So we called him from Starbucks, um, and that was it. I said, "Mark, would you be interested in doing this show with us?" Because I think we had a show over at the Sunset Strip Festival,
Mhm.
in Hollywood, and Mark said sure,
Downstairs at the Key Club. It was
and
rad.
and that was it. That was
Cool, 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 cool.
everything I read.
I
Everything
mean,
else is history.
I mean, Mike. I mean, I mean, if we look at Negative Thoughts as a track, yeah. I mean, you've got a great ride cymbal there in the chorus. What was your approach for the drums for this? Was it all jamming, or do you kind of think about? Is it natural, or do you think about things?
It's a bit of everything. And then once again, I have to thank Bjorn. He gives me a lot of ideas of what he likes to hear in spots, and I'll try my best to stimulate it, or try to accomplish what he's hearing, what's best for the song. The composer and stuff. So it's a bit of like freeform jam, and then you know, we we bring it down to, all right, these notes are cool. I don't know about those notes, and then we keep certain stuff, and that's what we go with. A
Yeah,
little bit
okay,
of everything. It,
cool, cool,
it
cool.
is free form, but also we do work on it.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I mean, as we get into the middle of album, Brighter Day has got a great riff. Blue Light in a Dream is a really nicely complex grower. I mean, there's lots of tracks across the album that really benefit from multiple listens. Yeah. We get to like Can't Wait, and Bjorn gets his intro. I mean, there's great bass all the way through that track. Yeah, especially when it gets high in places and things like that. I really love that song too. Is that your political song, Bjorn?
Political, well, I think a little political in a sense. Well, I think so. Like just it's a little bit of a worldwide. We have all these worldwide
Element.
problems. I guess I was so
Hmm.
it was kind of political. I think Clean Soil is maybe that's a definitely political one. More about our problems in the U.S. I think, and
Okay.
that we've had for years, and in my opinion, and a lot of people feel the same way in a way or another. Not to pick a side necessarily, but and Shout is actually a political song about Sweden and their
Okay.
problems that they've been having for years, and my discussions with people back there trying to help them with my point of view, not living there. I feel like I might have a point of view that it's hard to see when you're inside of a house or a
Right.
country or a company. You
Mhm.
may not see the problems, but somebody outside looking into a relationship or whatever it may be, so I'm your shout in the night. I'm not your enemy. So they would get mad at me when I would say something, but I'm like, I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you. I'm here to wake you up and help you see what that you guys are having problems. So that's really what the song
Okay.
is about.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I did pick
Gentlemen,
a.
I have to break away. Please excuse the interruption. I have to break away for a few. I'm at work, and I'll try to get back on in just a minute. Okay.
Okay, no worries, no
Nice,
worries.
nice to meet you. Love you guys.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Cheers.
I mean, I did pick up on the "I'm not your enemy" line in Shout, yeah, and again,
Yeah.
Mark's got really great layered vocal in in that track.
Yeah. Oh, phenomenal. I mean, he's And I liked how his dynamics and his tone is different in
Hmm.
each track, and
Yeah.
he didn't track them all in the same week or anything. So I think that helps a little bit too. You
Hmm.
back away from something and you come back, and that can be a good thing, I think.
Hmm.
So, and I think the lyrics, when I personally write lyrics, I tend to steer away from writing about
Hmm.
the typical love,
Yep. Yeah.
and you know. Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. I just always kind of had I, for me, there's so much else to write about it. Whether
Yep.
you were thinking about it, or are there lives on other planets, or
Hmm.
do we believe in God, or
Hmm.
what's the world situation like with all the things going on and the wars and
Yeah.
there's a
No.
lot of things to write about. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
true.
So
That's true. That's true. But you can't beat a great solo. And I mean, in Can't Wait. Yeah, I mean, Rob got. I love his solo in that track. Yeah, I mean, the layers he spreads throughout the track are great. So we run from Can't Wait into Alone, which is your solo. So I've been trying to work out the 1 1 3 3 8. Yeah, I mean, obviously the threes are E's and the eight is a B. What are the two ones?
yes. So, well, I can give away the secret. I stole it from one of my biggest heroes, Billy Sheehan.
Yep.
When I first saw that on the first Talus record, he had something similar. I'm like, what is that? And a friend of mine had figured it out. He took the LP and he turned it upside
Yep.
down. He said, "Now read it," and then read Sheehan, I think.
Yep.
So I thought that's pretty cool. So I stole that from him, and with all due respect, more like paying tribute to someone who really I've been looking up to as now as a friend, obviously, but this is as a mentor, and his work ethic more than his playing. His work
Yep.
ethic is just phenomenal, and it's a great guy. But he- so the first album had something like that, and then this one is the same. If you turn it upside down, it reads BEE 2, so Bjorn Eric England 2. So like this,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it was the two ones that figured me. I mean, I remembered
yeah,
the Talus story, and we did cover that when we talked about
yeah.
the Soul Sign album. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, no, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
a little mystery. What do you call those things for people to figure out, like
Yeah. Yeah.
trivia or
Yeah.
a puzzle
Yeah.
or whatever you call it? But
Uh,
yeah, so and the last four letters, if people turn it upside down, they'll be able to read it. But it was recorded live actually, one of our shows.
oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. So I was like, well, I can sit in the studio and do something, and I could have probably done something better, but I was like, you know what? It's live, and I like the raw, spontaneous feel. I don't really plan my solos, and I think
Okay.
that's the whole that and I was kind of debating whether should we put a bass solo on the record or not, but like hey, why not? So
Well, it's fine. I mean, it rolls into shout, doesn't it? So.
yeah, yeah.
For me, that's good enough. That's good enough. Yeah. The album finishes on Soul Side. Yeah. Um, the version of the album I listened to, Soul is spelled SOLE. Is that a typo?
No, that's actually um, well. There was years, then obviously, I'm the one who suggested the name a long time ago, and the bandmate at the time that wasn't too thrilled about the name, and years went by, and I got a lot of, well, will you guys play soul music? And then I was like, a lot of
Okay.
confusion, and then
Yeah.
and then it kind of sounded like Soul Asylum. If I said it quickly, so are you in Soul Asylum? No, Soul Sign. Like, oh, okay. And then I'm thinking like, well, this is not really telling people that this is a rock or metal band. Not that we're really metal, but so I thought of seriously changing it to SOLE sign.
Okay.
And then and I asked the guys, and Mark said no. He said, no, 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 Soul Sign is fine. And I said,
Hmm.
okay. And a lot of people like the name. And I was like, okay. But then and I was like, you know what? We should have a song called Soul Sign. And I wrote some lyrics initially. Um, and uh, and then Mark changed some of it, so he took it and took a different spin on it. So he rewrote the melody, vocal melody on the verses as well. So it was fun, and Mike had a big hand in that music in that song. He came up with the original idea of the original riff there, the intro riff, and all that
Okay.
stuff.
Oh
So that
wow.
was a
Okay.
collaboration between Mike and myself
Cool.
coming up with the music and the arrangement. Yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic song. I really love the build into the verse, yeah, and there's a great pace to Mark's vocals compared to the riff. Yeah, he's kind of, it's not a fast vocal, is it? And it just fits in well. And Rob, yeah, I mean, he's just throwing wah all over the place. It's a great finish to the album. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really Rob is I've never worked with anybody who works better in the studio, any guitar player. I mean, I've worked with a lot of great people, no disrespect to anyone, but Rob is just he's on a different planet. In the
Mm,
studio is really where he just yeah, he's very comfortable and he's very precise and he just ideas just flow out of
mhm,
him, and the solo you mentioned too and Can't Wait is very quick. I don't think it's even 20
mm,
seconds long. It's
mhm,
like 18 or 19 or 20 seconds
mhm.
long, but he's one of the few. He doesn't need a lot of time. He
Yep.
starts telling the story right away, and because you have a 20-second solo, you got to speak quickly.
Yep.
There's no time to build. You just got to blast and go right into it.
Mhm.
And he's just great like that. And he doesn't play the same stuff over and over. He kind of varies his licks and his
Yep.
vibratos and his ideas, and it's very much like an Eddie Van Halen in a way, who was always playing different stuff all the
Mhm.
time, and so it's very cool.
But I've just invented this. It's just flashed into my mind, yeah. But when you think about Rob, when you listen to Rob, you have three ears, don't you? You got your right ear, your left ear, and then if you got your headphones on, there's that bit in the middle of your head as well, And it's great listening to Rob, yeah, because he'll be playing three separate things in those kind of three ears. It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
And Soul Sign, the last 30 seconds made me smile as well. I mean, the only thing you're missing, yeah, is the arm picking up off the vinyl and coming off.
right. Yes. Yeah, for we're gonna put it out on vinyl. Was long story, but
Yeah.
originally the negotiation with a label that we didn't sign with was going to do vinyl, but we might still we're going
Okay.
to do
Yeah.
vinyl,
Yeah.
and if you don't play it on vinyl, it's going to be you still get that scratch.
Oh, you do. Yeah. Yeah. It did be the first. It did be the first listen. Yeah. So it's cool. So look, Desert Fire is out today. Bjorn, I think it's a triumph. It definitely deserves to be heard. I mean, it's Soul Sign is an awesome four-piece now. Where can we buy this?
You can buy it pre-orders or orders of vinyl, CDs, and downloads at soulsignband.com.
Cool. Cool.
And
Cool.
yeah, and it's yeah,
Cool.
that's it. You can get it worldwide, all three right there, and it's put out by Rox Records on CD in the United States and Canada, and it's on Earache Records digitally worldwide.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant. 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 We'll share the links. Any message for the fans?
just we'd love to hear the feedback and see what people think, and what's your favorite track? That's the big, that's always a different answer from every person, and that's just really fabulous to hear. It's great.
Fab, fab, fab. I wish you the best of luck. Brilliant. It's always great to speak to you, Bjorn, and
Thank you.
good luck. And we'll chat again
Hey,
soon. Keep in touch.
okay. Likewise. Take care. Thank you so much, Steve.